Hi out there. How's your day going? Pretty good.
How you doing?
I like the way Shay and Ricky started. And how are
Yeah.
you? How's your day going?
Yeah.
I'm here with the Missy. It's Saturday evening, early Saturday evening, and we haven't been able to put too much up lately. There's been a lot going on with my family being out here. You've kind of been on you've been on your own around here, getting into trouble and crap. I know.
Yeah, yeah. Do what I gotta do.
Do what you got to do. But I've missed you.
I miss you.
Been out doing stuff with the family. My daughter graduated from Berkeley and things. But I had to ask you to come in because we were talking. I was doing an upload about that, shooting a vid about boobs, 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 and you must have gotten over time people to write you and just say, I just want to have titties to play with. I don't want any of the other kind of stuff of being female, but I really like to have tits. And have you ever got anybody that wrote you those letters? I'd play with them all day long if I had them.
I actually had guys at work when I still was working that said if I had boobies, I'd play with them all the time. And it is a misconception because once you have those girls, you don't play with them.
You really don't. I kind of call that, I don't want to call it, when you're truly transgendered, as I believe that you and I are, there's not a cheat. There's not a cheat associated with that. In other words, there's not a false payoff. In other words, we didn't do what we did so that we could play with the girls and things. Okay, so we're very happy that we have them, but it's not, believe it or not, it's not the focus of what our lives are. Having the physical attributes of that. So we're happy. We don't feel like we need to play with our boobs all the time.
It's just a physical attribute that is part of us that lets the world know we are women.
Okay, and they're big. All right, I get that. But what I'm saying is it fitted us who we are. But sometimes I'm kind of saddened in a way if people think that, if I just had boobs, my life would be great. I think for a lot of people, your life would be hell. If you had boobs, but you just don't realize it because you're just thinking about the sexual aspects of how fun it might be to have boobs, and you're not thinking about the practical impracticalities of having them. And it's kind of I got so many this week. I got 2 or 3 this week, and it really kind of threw me that it still happens out there.
You would run into stuff for a while in the beginning. You will hit stuff with your boobies because they're all of a sudden protruding so far out.
Yeah, I've opened car door corners of car door tops.
Right.
Hurt like hell. Okay, I have not slept on my stomach.
I sleep on my stomach.
I sleep on my side, but
I found a way how to do that.
Okay, we'll talk about that. Try to sleep on top of you, maybe that'll do it. But yeah, there's some impracticalities, and I wasn't gonna really go in this way, but I just thought there's so many people that do have that feeling. It would be a fun aspect to just have that in their lives. And their first thought would be, well, that's something that you play with all the time. I mean, we get people on Adult Friend Finder when we're up there and playing that, man, you girls must be at each other like all the time, or grabbing those hooters and things. And the reality is it's part of being what it is to be and represent as female. It's really no more or no less. I mean, it's nice to have them, don't get me wrong, and it's good to have a nice rack that turns out well, but it's not the guiding sort of thing that your thought processes go to all the time. And I thought it'd just be an interesting topic for us to talk about, how hormones also mentally changes you. We talk about the affectionate parts of being like caring partners and things, and missing Jenn when I'm not around for a couple days, not in any sexual way, but because I miss, giving her a hug and a kiss and things like that. And I don't know if you feel this sort of the same way. Yeah.
It's like an empty space when you're not around.
Yeah, it's like an empty space, and I just, my heart goes out. I can't wait till I can get home and be with her. And it's really one of the most comforting aspects, I think, of being trans women is you just have that deeper sort of relationship that you really can relate to exactly what each other feels when you're transgenders, as opposed to a male-female relationship a lot of times where you have a few hits and a few misses of miscommunication. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, and all those kind of issues.
Well, it is scientifically proven that men have totally different interests than women have. And when you talk to men and when you talk to women, you will see that men will respond different to you than women do. Women will embrace you and they will talk about clothing, shopping, shoes, and whatnot, all that female stuff. Men, yeah, they like to talk about trucks and fixing their trucks up and going out with the boat fishing, and yeah, I don't really give a hoot about that. They know that, so they just sit there and go, yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's just there's a much higher level of sort of affection when you're with another trans girl, or in Miss Jenn's case, post-op, and really full female. There's really I find it a much more, I don't want to say more satisfying. To me, it's been more satisfying because I think we relate so well, and we've talked about this before, how our life experiences, we kind of know what each other went through in their transition.
We can relate to each other much better. I don't want to go too far into that because I'm not sure how far I can talk about this, but in the last 3 days, her family's been here, and so it's been very stressful on her, and a lot of people will not understand why, but I do understand why. So I can really empathize with what's going on in her mind when family is around.
Yeah.
And how family
the expectations
tries to expect from her to be male and appear male, and I know that it's heartbreaking for her. Yes, she does that for them, but I know the pain because I can feel the pain.
Yeah, it's a very true thing. It's all about balancing in life. It's all about give and take. I've seen so many trans girls that will just absolutely jam their own personal wants and desires in other people's face, and there's no two-way street on that. And I think Jenn's alluding to, my dad being here this time out, and it was a rough go in Baltimore last year, and he said, you know what, I'm 84 years old. I'm not going to be around much longer. And, I'd really like to see you as the way I remembered you growing up from my last visit out there to California. And what are you going to say? You're not going to raise your middle finger and say up yours and all that. That's your dad. That's somebody that you have to respect. Now, that's not to say my dad doesn't know what I'm about. He knows all about what I'm about, and he's seen videos before and pictures and all that, and he knows. But there's times where you have to put a little more heart into it. I think when you're truly transgender, you really do have that nurturing sort of caring spirit that you can let yourself outside of your comfort zone to put it out a little bit for other people sometimes. And you're quite right. It's been a very stressful thing for me to do, but in a way, you feel like you do. You honor your parents for what they were to you. But do you hide what you are? No, I think that's a super huge mistake, and there's a big difference between hiding who you are and being what somebody else requests you to be for a certain period of time. Because I could not live with myself if my family didn't know what I was, or the people in my life and things, because then I would feel like it's all just a big masquerade party, and it doesn't. I couldn't relate to people like Jen the way I relate to her, and I think that she would feel the same way about it.
And you also, I cannot understand how some trans girls that I know here on YouTube, they just drop their family. They just walk out of their kids' life, their wife's life, and instead of trying to work with them.
And I think I'm going to jump right in there and say that, because I think Jen would be, and you raised a couple kids sort of as surrogate mom, and I think you make an excellent sort of mom to be able to, you can't turn your back on people in life. And I've always said that transition is a slow process, and it's as painful for them at first as it is for you when you realize what you are and you haven't encompassed the good parts of what it is to be transgender. All you can see is that huge mountain ahead where a lot of people are going to be pissed off, and a lot of people are going to be hurt, and a lot of people are going to be ashamed to hear what you are in your life now. But you've got to give people a chance to have that, a chance to transition along with you. It takes time.
Right. It's not you alone that's transitioning. Everyone around you is going to transition along with you. And they have to learn all the information about what transgender is. And it all then comes back to having a gender dysphoria diagnosis that explains your condition, and with that you can then approach your family, and then they will understand much better, and it'll be smoother coming out. And I just want to say, when I came out, I had 4 grandchildren in the age of 3, 4, 7, and 13. And I'm telling you, they had no problem whatsoever. They just said, okay, he's gonna be a girl, and then
the joy of being young. Yeah,
they had a little bit of difficulties with the name, but I mean, it just took a few weeks, and they had it down to a T, and there was never any questions or anything. They accepted me.
It's very interesting.
If you love somebody, you will accept them no matter what.
Yeah, because when I first came out to my family years ago, of course your kids are always the most shocked, and they weren't 4 or 5. They were older and things, but it hit them like a ton of bricks. And they go through that cycle of they flash forward with their life, and they see you appearing in your dress in their life and things like that, and they fast forward all these things in their mind, and the initial impulse is to just slam that door and say get mental help as soon as possible. And in the case of my own kids, it came to the point over time where they've realized, you did so many good things for us growing up. You've done so much to make me the girl that I am, to the girls that I am today, that, you know what, I can understand now, and I can at least start to learn and start meeting you sort of halfway. And that's a happy day in my life in particular. So I think you have a lot of good wisdom about those things, particularly about a little bit of give and take in life. And it's not always just giving a body slam to people in your life and just saying, well, I told you what I am and you don't love me, so, bye. Well, you'll probably end up being the sad one in that sort of relationship. And
it will haunt you for the rest of your life. And I'm not kidding.
Yeah, so if you care, and I really think if you are that good parent, you will never stop. I understand you might have some kids that hate your guts or other family members, but you will never stop trying to reach out to them, to have them fully embrace and understand the person that you are. And I told my kids, I'll give you all the time you want to do that. And little by little over the years, it's all been coming good, making me very happy. So
yeah, I've met.
Yeah, you met my oldest daughter.
Your oldest daughter and your dad yesterday, and it was a privilege and a pleasure.
They were happy to meet you too, and you know, they're happy because what I told them was exactly what they got, and they saw a very fine woman here at the house, and they were very, you know, my dad probably left skeptical, like, oh, now it's a twofer, you know. And I had one, now I got two out there to write Christmas cards to and all that stuff. But he left very happy. So it all turned out good. You know, we touched on a lot of different subjects tonight. I didn't mean to just drag Jenn in, but you know, she has such good wisdom at so many points and times, and has been through so many experiences too. I really think like she does it. Experience counts, and being genuine and not being a false prophet and not being a bullshitter, if you'll pardon my expression, about leading people on when you really have no basis to do that. The false prophets in the transgender community to tell you it's just easy. Just slam the door on that life that you had. Be the person that you want to be. Fuck everybody else and the hell with it. Well, that's a really raw way to be in life, and that's a recipe for disaster. If you're going to be a female trans woman and make yourself into the best woman that you can be, you're going to have heart too. And there's no way on God's green acres that you could allow something like that to stand. It's not easy, but it's definitely worthwhile.
You will not ever be able to be proud of yourself. You will be living in shame.
Yeah. You just will always have that feeling like I didn't do the best.
You might not think about it right now because you're all euphoric about, I am now living my life and all that, but I'm going to tell you, life catches up with you soon or later.
Yeah, and when the lights go out at night and your head's on that pillow and you're thinking about your life and things, your euphoria might take a little dip at those moments, and the reality is we're only as good as the people we connect to in life. And for me, it would be disastrous to not have my family. I could never imagine having a daughter of mine graduate from University of California, Berkeley, the flagship University of California campus, and not being there to see that day would be unthinkable to me. So
think about your children. Try to think how do they feel right now? You just walk out of their life.
Yeah, because a lot of girls I've seen will do uploads and they'll say, well, I try to tell them, you know, I love them, and they slam the door on me. Well, it's almost like they're glad they have that past. They can always shake that in the face of the person. Well, you told me to get lost and all that stuff. Yeah. My kids told me to go crawl away and die, okay? But I didn't let that stand because my kids knew, you know, the kind of parent I was. And as time goes on, we're all the better for having had that experience. And now with Jenn in my life, it widens, and of course I'm in her life with her family too. So it's been a growing experience in a lot of different ways. But I know you have a series that you're working on because you got things you want to get off your chest about a lot of good topics. So
I think that some of the new trans girls in the last few months, and I'm not the only one that observed that. I'm going to make it really short. But there's a lot of bullshitter artists, as I call them out here, that are self-medicating, not seeing a therapist, and technically not transitioning because nothing is documented. And these girls will try to put educational videos out, and they will miseducate. They will put out wrong information. And other newcomers will come and will then see those girls and will get the wrong ideas from the get-go. So
yeah, and I think I'll jump in and just say this: you might be led down a path that's entirely wrong for your situation because somebody stood on the sideline and was a cheerleader and pushed you over the edge to do something stupid that you're not mentally equipped to do. That's the real tragedy.
We've actually seen that happen, that one person fell for one of those people, and her life turned into a huge disaster.
Yeah, her exposure and her coming out was a unmitigated disaster on every single front
Yeah.
because she had nothing to show for what she was, even though I'm not going to question what she thinks she is, but because she fell for the rah-rah cheerleading, it's like Humpty Dumpty putting her life back together. Well, it's a lot easier not to fall off the wall in the first place.
So I started a mini vlog series, and I'm not trying to advocate my channel, but I think this mini series of vlogs that I started, it's right now 9 videos. The first 2 are up. They are very helpful, I believe. I want to rectify the damage that these people do to the trans community by putting out wrong information. And I want to rectify that by putting out this mini vlog series, and I'm going to chronologically from video to video explaining what transition is, how to come out properly, in what steps, and so on and so forth. All the steps to transition, all the way to having surgery done and post-op care, and so on and so on. So if you really are interested in seeing the truth and nothing but the truth, you might want to watch those videos.
Yeah, and I'm more dedicated to throwing up an occasional vid too and things on the general topics of it. Once in a while, it's okay to be serious, but I wanted Jen to just pop in here because you know, it's Saturday night. We haven't put anything up for a couple of days, but it was a great chance for us to talk about a few topics that are current and what's typically a kind of low time of year, so it's a good time to put out a vid that'll stick around for a while, and hopefully some people will watch it. You know, there's a certain joy from doing stuff the right way when you're transgendered, and there's always that sneaking sort of skeleton in the closet fear when you do stuff the wrong way in life, when you don't have any backing behind you, no professional help, that you know, everything on the slide and in the closet, it will blow up in your face, I guarantee you, and it's going to be really difficult to get it back together again. But thanks for coming on tonight. Well, it is our co-channel.
I just want to just briefly throw this in. Some of you might ask what we have to gain from doing this. We don't gain anything from making these videos. We love every single one of you out there, and we care about each single one of you. If you're part of the community, you're part of our family, and we look out for family. That means we look out for you.
Yeah, caring means not always telling you what you want to hear, but telling you what you need to hear as you go along and transition. It's not always shits and giggles, as Jen says. There's a serious side to it, and if there's not a pain element to your transition, I can almost guarantee you're doing something wrong, okay? Because it's a process to be gone through. It's not one day I'm this, one day I was that, and the next day I'm this, okay? It doesn't work that way in life. Thanks for watching, everyone, and comments are always welcome. Rate and subscribe. We always like hearing from you as our channel grows. There will be a bigger flow of stuff coming up. I'll give you a little precursor for next week. Jen's going to be going down to UCSF for her first visit, and you guys are going to be along, and we're going to be talking about beforehand and the state of therapies and all that. It's going to be very interesting. You're going to see a little bit of San Francisco, the city, as we say here. So thanks a lot for watching, okay?